network layer is third layer in the OSI model. Means from the bottom, this network layer is the third layer. So the first layer from the bottom is physical layer. So above to that physical layer, the data link layer is there, and the data link layer will provide services to the network layer. So this network layer, data link layer, and physical layer, these three are hardware related layers. And the above three layers means application layer, presentation, and session layer, these three are related to the software layers. And the middle transport layer is nothing but the heart of the OSI reference model. So here the network layer is layer 3 in the OSI model from the bottom, and it is mainly responsible for connections between different networks. So the function of the network layer is to provide end-to-end communication capability to transport layer which lies above to the network layer, because the network layer will provide services to the transport layer. So what is the main difference between the data link layer and the network layer? So the data link layer provides reliable node to node service between the adjacent nodes, whereas the network layer provides a reliable end-to-end service. So the data link layer will provide node-to-node service, whereas the network layer will provide the end-to-end service between the source and destination. So here is the OSI layer, 7 layers diagram. And the main responsibility of the network layer is managing the subnet performance. So what is subnet? So subnet consisting of number of routing devices, so which are used for routing purpose, means the packet switching. For packet switching, from one source device to the network device, we are using so many intermediate routers. So that collection of intermediate routers is nothing but our subnet. So the network layer's main responsibility is to managing the subnet performance. This layer is more focused to control the operations of the data transmission. So how the data is transmitted from one source to the destination, because in a network we have n number of devices are there. So from in that n number of devices, we have one source and we have one destination. So the main principle or the main functionality of network layer is routing. So here it is mainly focused on the control of the operation of data transmission, and also routing and switching technologies, packet forwarding and sequencing, error handling, addressing and the creation of the logical routes, and congestion control. So these are all the operations which are performed by the network layer. So now see what are the main functionalities of network layer. So we have four different functionalities of network layer are there. One is addressing and packetizing, routing, and internetworking. So these are the four functions of the network layer. So these are the main functionalities, means addressing, packetizing, routing, internetworking. This is a step by step procedure. First it need to address the data, next make it into a packet, next routing, means from which node to which node the packet is switched, and next one is interconnecting, means interconnecting device mean one device is connected to the another device, because while transmitting the packet all the devices are connected. So that internetworking process is also taken care by this network layer. So we'll see what is addressing. Maintains both the source and destination addresses at the frame header. So each and every layer maintains the frame header. So here the network layer is above to the data link layer. So in data link layer we have the concept of framing. So what is framing? It will provide the address of the source and destination. So the network layer maintaining the means functionality is addressing. So in that addressing it maintains both the source and destinations address. The network layer performs addressing to find out the specific device on the network. So why these addresses are required? So the address mean the source and destination address mean source address mean from which node the data is transmitted. Destination address means to which node the data is transmitted. Means from node and to node. So from node's address and to node's address. So that will be maintained by using the addressing concept of the networking. Packetizing. The network layer works on the conversion of packets, those received from its upper layer. This feature is accomplished by Internet Protocol. So by using the Internet Protocol, so this is the protocol suite which is existed in the network layer. So what is the duty of this Internet Protocol mean? To make it the data into a packet. So here what will happen? Packetizing concept is used. What is this packetizing? The data which is received from the upper layer. So that is called in upper layer the data is in the form of datagram or segment. So that is data or payload. So to that payload we will add the header. For example h3, because this is the third layer, so we will mention it as h3. So this complete thing is called as IP packet. So in network layer the data is in the form of IP packet. So this is the format, IP packet format. What is the format? The data along with header. Header is nothing but the address of the source and destination. So that will be added to the data. In network layer the packetizing concept is there. So whatever the payload is there, whatever the data is there, so for that data it need to add the source address and the destination address. That is nothing but the from address and to address of the devices. And next one is routing. So now addressing is over. Next thing is packetizing is over. Packetizing means encapsulating, mean wrapping into a single unit. So that is also over. Next part is while transmitting the data from source to destination, there is no direct path. Sometimes there are multiple number of intermediate nodes are there between the source and the destination. Now, by using the concept of routing, we need to find the best path between the source and the destination. So here this is the major functionality, means routing is the major functionality of the network layer. It chooses the best path for data transmission from a source point to the destination point. So what it is? So for example, we have a source node is there and a destination node is there. So from this source node, the data is transmitted to the destination node. But here, while transmitting the data, we have so many intermediate nodes are there. So many intermediate nodes are there. So from that intermediate nodes, the data is passed. So for example, here the data is transmitted from A to C, C to D, D to E, and from D to B. D to E and E to B. So this is one path. Another path is A to C, C to Z, Z to F, F to E, and E to B. This is one path. So like that, we have n number of paths are there existed between the source and the destination. So by using the routing concept, we will find out the best path for transmitting the data from source to destination. So that will be taken care by using the functionality of routing. That's why this is the major functionality of the network layer. And next one is internetworking. So what it is internetworking? A logical connection across multiple devices. So whenever the intermediate nodes are there, the routing is found. Means once the route is found, we need to connect the devices from route. Means for example, we will find a particular route A to C, C to E, E to F. Like that, we are founding the route. So once the route is found, what we'll do? We will interconnect the devices. First, we need to connect A and C. Next, we need to connect C and D. Next, we need to connect D and E. Like that, we are interconnecting the devices. So, various intermediate nodes are interconnected by using this internetworking functionality. So, these are all the main functionalities of the network layer. So, four functionalities are there. One is addressing, second one is packetizing, third one is routing, and the fourth one is internetworking. So these four are the main functionalities of the network layer. Among these four, the major functionality is routing. Now we'll see the design issues of the network layer. So what are the main design issues of network layer? So the first one is store and forward packet switching and services provided to the transport layer. So why it will provide services to the transport layer? So above to the network layer, the above layer is mean the upper layer is transport layer. So definitely the network layer will take the data from data link layer and it will provide services to the transporter, because all the devices, all the layers are interconnected. So they are interconnected means it will provide services to the upper layer. So here the network layer will provide services to the transport layer. And next, how it will provide services? By implementation of connectionless service, because in services provided to the transport layer, we have two different connections are there. One is connectionless, another one is connection oriented. So that's why this is one of the design issue of network layer: implementation of connectionless service and implementation of connection oriented service. So, and routing. So for routing purpose, because we are finding the shortest path or the best path, so for finding the best path, we will use so many routing algorithms. So different type of routing algorithms are used. So that's why the routing is one of the design issues of the network layer. And also congestion control. So congestion control is also one of the technique, and here in congestion control also we are using so many algorithms. So these are all the design issues of the network layer: store and forward packet switching, services provided to the transport layer, implementation of connectionless service, implementation of connection oriented service, routing, congestion control. So we'll see what is store and forward packet switching. So what is this store and forward packet switching? So the main principle is here that data node, mean the node which has a packet to send, delivers it to the nearest node. So the main principle of store and forward packet switching is the nodes are storing the packets. Once all the packets are received, then only it will send packet to the next node. Means so many intermediate nodes are there. So the intermediate nodes duty is whatever the data is received from the sender or the previous node, it will store all the packets. Once all the packets are completed, means all the packets are received, then only it will forward it. Means before forwarding it, it will check the errors. So after finding the errors, it will forward it to the next node. So that is the main principle of store and forward packet switching. So we'll see what is the working principle. The node which has a packet to send delivers it to the nearest node, that is called as router. So we have source and destination is there. So there is a path. The network layer duty is to find the best path. So while finding the best path, first thing is the source node will transmit the data to the nearest node, that is called as router. So why it is called as router? It will find the route to the next node. That's why the node is called as router. That is called as router. So this is the first step. Next, the packet is stored in the router until it has fully arrived and its checksum is verified for error detection. So once the packet is received at the first router, so what it will do? It will store the packet until the complete packet is arrived. So once the complete packet is arrived, it will check for the checksum. Means it will check for the errors. So it will detect the errors by using the checksum method. So after finding the errors, if any errors are detected, simply it will send acknowledgement to the previous node. So if no errors are there, then completely the packet is transmitted to the next node, next nearby node. So that is the process taken place in store and forward packet switching. Once this is done, the packet is transmitted to the next router. So what is done? The complete packet is received, and on that complete packet we are applying the error detection algorithm, that is called as either checksum or CRC. Here we are applying the checksum method. So once the checksum is applied, we need to detect the errors. So if the error is detected, then the packet is not transmitted to the next node. Simply it will send the acknowledgement, negative acknowledgement to the source. Then the source will understand there may be errors will be occurred. So it need to retransmit the data. So once the packet is completely received, means if there is no errors, means error free data is received, then simply it will be transmitted to the next node. The same process is continued in each router until the packet reaches its destination. So the same procedure is continued at each and every routers. So from a router, mean from source to uh, the packet is transmitted to the nearby node. From that nearby node, again it will transmitted to another router. So in that router also the same procedure is taken place, and from that router again it will transmit it to the nearby node. So like that, each and every node is transmitting the data by following the same steps. Finally it will reach to the destination node. Until it reaches to the destination, the same procedure is followed at each and every routers. So we'll see the diagram for this one. So this is one small example for store and forward packet switching. So if you observe here, we have host H1 and host H2 is there. So this host H1, host H2. So host H1 is nothing but the source device. Host H2 is nothing but the destination device. Now here the host H1 wants to transmit a packet to host H2. So how the data transmission will take in place? So while transmitting the data, we will take the services from the internet service provider, that is called as ISP. Because for internet connection, we need to take services from the internet service provider. So this is the equipment of internet service provider. From that ISP, we take the services. And here we have the subnet. So this complete thing is called as subnet. So what is subnet? It is consisting of multiple or more number of routers. So here we have n number of routers are there. So how many number of routers? 6 routers are there. A, B, C, D and E and F. So these are the 6 routers. These routers will find the best path to transmit the packet from source to destination. So internet service provider has 6 routers A to F connected by transmission lines shown in blue line. So this blue lines represents the transmission lines, means how the data is transmitted from one router to the another node. And there are two hosts H1 and H2 is connecting to the routers. So here if you observe, we have 6 routers are there, and 6 router in among these 6 routers, the router A is nearby router to host H1, and the router D is near to host H2. That's why the router H1 is means the host H1 is connected to router A, and host H2 is connected to router D. So intermediate routers are there. Now the how the packet is transmitted, we'll see. Suppose that H1 wants to send a data packet to H2. H1 sends the packet to router A. So here the source is H1 and the destination is H2. So what is the main motto here? H1 wants to transmit a packet to H2, but there is no direct connection between H1 and H2. There are so many intermediate routers are there. So first thing is the H1 will find the nearby node to host H1. So what is the nearby node here? A, the router A is the nearby node to host H1. So first it will transmit the packet to router A. So that is the first step. Next what we'll do? The packet is stored in router A. So first the host H1 will transmit packet to host router A. So here the packet is stored in router A until it has arrived fully. So whatever the packets, because the packets are transmitted in the form of frames, so at A it is not directly transmit to the next router. So it will wait until the complete packet is arrived. So once the fully packet is arrived, what is the next step? So the router A verifies the checksum using CRC, cyclic redundancy code. So here, once the complete packet is arrived, it will apply the error detection algorithm. So why it is apply the error detection algorithm? So while transmitting through a channel, due to the noisy channel, any disturbances are there, then there may be a chance of errors. So once it receives the complete packet, it will check whether any errors are detected or not. So if the errors are not detected here, then it will transmit the packet to the next nearby node. So if you observe, what are the connecting devices to A? So A is connected to device B, A is connected to device C, and A is connected to device F. Means there are three paths are existed. So A to B is one path, A to C is one path, and A to F is one path. So any of the direction the data is transmitted. So for example, it will transmitted through A to F. So in the next case, if there is a CRC error, the packet is discarded. Otherwise, it is transmitted to the next hop, here router F. So once the CRC is applied, we will detect any errors are occurred. So if the error is occurred, then simply it will discard the message. So it will never forward it to the next router and simply send the acknowledgement, negative acknowledgement to host. So the host will understand, okay, some errors will occur. So it need to again retransmit the data. So that like that, at the first hop, at the first router only, the data is corrected. So now once the errors are rectified, means there is no error at the first router, then what it will do, it will send to the next nearby hop. So what is the next nearby router? So here we have three different paths are there. In that three different paths, it chooses the next hop is F. So the next router is F. So the packets are transmitted to F. So the same procedure is followed at router F also. So what is the same procedure? It kept all the packets, means until the complete packet is arrived, it stores the data. Once the complete packet is arrived, it will check for the errors by using the CRC. So if the errors are detected, simply it will discard the packet, or errors are not detected, then it will transmit to the next node. So what is the next router here? It will send packet to the next router, that is called as D. So the same process is followed by router F, which then transmits the packet to router D. Finally, the router D delivers the packet to the host H2. So from that router D, again the same procedure is followed. Once the error-free data is detected, then it will transmit to the host 2. The host H2 is nothing but the destination process. So in this way, the working principle mean how the data is transmitted from one node to the another node. Why it is called store and forward packet switching? Once the packet is received at the router, it will not switch the packet to the next router. It will wait until the complete packet is received. That's why storing the packets. So it stores the packet. Once the complete packet is arrived, it will check for the errors. If errors are occurred, discard the packet. If errors are not occurred, then it will switch the packet to the next router. So that's why store and forward packet switching is one of the design issues of the network layer. So the next service, mean design issue of the network layer, is services provided to the transport layer. So here so many services are provided to the transport layer. So while providing services to the transport layer, we need to kept in mind some goals to be kept in mind before providing services to the transport layer. So what are the goals to be kept in mind? First one is, offering services must not depend on the router technologies. So what the services provided to the transport layer, that will not depend on the router technology. And second one is, the transport layer needs to be protected from the type, number, and topology of the available router. So it needs to be, the transport layer is provided, means need to be protected from what is the type of router, what is the number available to the router, and what is the topology. So we have different topologies are there. So what are the different topologies? Bus topology, star topology. So that subnet consisting of some devices. So here also, if you observe, so here also we are following some connection system, means it will follow the topologies. So based on the topologies only the routers are connected. So to protect the transport layer, we are not considering the, means we are considering the type, number and topology of the available routers. The network addresses for the transport layer should use uniform numbering pattern also at LAN and WAN connections. So what are the network addresses for the transport layer? Um, Use the uniform numbering. Uniform numbering means a sequence, means we are not using the random number system. Maintaining a uniformity is there. That means we will maintain a sequence numbers like 1 2 3 like that, or a b c d like that. So a particular uniform numbering system is followed for addressing the transport layer. So the same uniform numbering pattern is used either we are using the local area network or wide area network. So while providing services to the transport layer, we need to follow these things, means kept in mind these things, and we will provide services to the transport layer. So based on the connections, we have two different type of services provided to the transport layer. So based on the connection, so what are the two services provided? Mean one is connectionless, another one is connection oriented. So what is this connectionless? The routing and insertion of the packets into subnet is done individually. No added setup is required. So here there is no connection between the devices. So what is the main motto of this connectionless mean? Whenever the sender wants to transmit a data to receiver, there is no understanding between them. Means even though the receiver is ready to accept the data or not, but the sender will not considering that case, simply he is transmitting the data. That is called as connectionless service. Connection oriented mean subnet must offer reliable service and all the packets must be transmitted over a single route. So here we are following the single route, mean there is a single connection between the sender and the receiver, means the sending device and the receiving device. So there is an mutual understanding between the devices. So the sender is ready to transmit and the receiver is also ready to accept the data. There is an establishment of the connection between the sending device and the receiving device. That is called as connection oriented services. So these are the two different services provided to the transport layer. So next class we will discuss what is the implementation of connectionless service and what is the implementation of connection oriented service.